Okay, well, good evening, everyone. Well, thank you for coming to our Northern Arapahoe Business Council public meeting. And I know the sound in here isn't too great, so we'll try to make sure that we keep the microphone to our mouths so you can hear us clearly. And we know we have a lot to tell you tonight, and we know that also you as tribal members like to engage with us as a business council with question and answers. So we are looking forward to that also. And again, this is part of the Northern Arapahoe Business Council's initiative to stay transparent and to stay connected with the tribal members. That's very important for us. Those of you who don't know me, my name is Lee Spoonhunter. I am the chairman this term for the Arapahoe Business Council. And tonight I wanted to begin our meeting talking about a great man that we recently lost, Dr. Burnett Whiteplume. Now, I first met Burnett when I got home from college, and the only job open at the tribe was a receptionist job, and so I applied, and that's where I was. And Burnett was the tribal planner. You could say the tribal administrator back then, back in 1999, when I first met Burnett. And he was a remarkable man. He'd come visit with me every day. He would sit down, and in his own way, he connected with you and made you feel very special and welcomed, and you were part of the tribe and the tribal office at the time. I was just a kid when I first met Burnett. Recently, this year in January, we went down to Cheyenne to meet with the Governor Mark Gordon, and we were to talk about concerns we had with the Northern Arapahoe DFS contract, which is Department of Family Services, and we worked with the state of Wyoming to negotiate that contract. And we were down in Cheyenne, and Dr. Whiteplume was with us, and our attorney, Andy Baldwin, pointed out to us that the Northern Arapahoe and the state of Wyoming, that Department of Family Services contract was 30 years old, and that Dr. Burnett Whiteplume was instrumental in the first contract that was written, along with Al Addison at the time, who was on the council. And it was remarkable. And as humble a man and loving man that Dr. Whiteplume was, he just kind of got bashful about it. He didn't. I guess someone bragging him up. He kind of got shy, and there's just the humble man that Burnett was. Back in 1998, Burnett worked on the first contract for TANF, for tribal TANF, and he worked for direct funding with the Administration for Children and Families, the tribal TANF agency there, to get direct funding. And he also worked with the state of Wyoming to get the technical assistance needed to train our tribal members to work a tribal TANF program. He also worked on the 638 contract with the Bureau of Indian Affairs, so that we could 638 contract the General Assistance Program and the IM program, and that's when we first formed Northern Arapahoe Social Services, and I was the receptionist then, and so sometimes Burnett would bring things to type, and so I kind of knew a little bit about it, the programs that he was working on, and we made a full circle. I hadn't had contact with Dr. Whiteplume in a while, but he got his doctorate degree, and he came back to the tribe, and we hired him, and it was remarkable to see all the good things he did again. Burnett's heart was in it for the Arapaho tribe. He did everything in a way that was respectful and professional to everyone around him. And everything he did was with our people in mind, and I cannot stress that enough. And his passions in the last days that he was working on was seeing 477, the 477 program. He wanted to see it through. He wanted to see us work that program to provide better services for our tribal members. And also he was working on the Northern Arapaho language. He was working on curriculum, and he was also working with different people within the tribe to do grants so that we can strengthen our Arapaho language. He wanted to revitalize our language, and he wanted to preserve it, and he wanted to restore it so that his grandkids would be fluent speakers. That's the vision that Burnett had for Arapaho language. And so tonight, I just want to say that much. I could go on and on tonight, but we have a lot of things to cover. So I just wanted to say that much about Burnett, and I know some of the other council would like to say a few words about this remarkable man.
Good evening, everybody. Can you guys hear me okay? Burnett Whiteplume, again, he was also our drum major. And again, that's a pretty big responsibility to bestow on any one of us. It's an honor, it's a privilege, and Burnett accepted that duty and did the best he can to help and support our tribal members in their time of need. So he had a real sense of compassion with him, and that carried through within everything he did. And the value that we lost of a person of that caliber is just, it's hard for us as a tribe to accept, because again, the knowledge and the wealth, as Chairman expressed, was beyond. He continued even at his older age to pursue his education and set an example for all of us to carry on and do the best we can to get higher educated so that we can continue to help support our tribe. And so he wore that on his sleeve every day, and as Chairman expressed, he was very professional. He tried his best to have an understanding for everyone, tried his best to work within the capacities that we had tasked him with. He had a lot of work that he was working on behalf of the business council, and also within his own heart, the things that he wanted to accomplish, the needs that he felt were necessary to help all of us. And so it was a compliment to us and the work that we were trying to do, to have someone of that caliber to be able to help express that in a proper manner to all of our tribal members, our tribal employees. And we're just really grateful for the time that we did have to actually see that example be put to use and put to work, and be able to look at that and understand that's something that we all should always carry and value with us too. And so one thing that I wanted to really express is that he was very critical in reestablishing our rights to hunt buffalo. We put some posts out on Facebook on our tribe's website and Facebook page to express that Burnett was very critical in going up to Montana and getting us all of the proper documentations that was necessary for the Arapaho tribe to be able to engage in hunting in the Yellowstone area again. And so he worked hard on that for us, because again, he, as Chairman mentioned, he was very big on language and culture, and had a real understanding of what the buffalo meant to our people, and wanted to see that come back full circle to where we actually had an option to be able to participate again and carry on what used to be our traditional way of life. And so I was very grateful that he took interest to do so, and really wanted to see that fulfilled. And so in about a week from now, we are going to officially go on the first tribes hunt for buffalo up in the greater Yellowstone area. And we're working with our THPO program and a few others to try and get those things shored up so that we can open it up to all the tribal members who wish to pursue and hunt their own buffalo. And so I just want to express that much, as far as Burnett's effect, and how much he's going to be sadly missed on behalf of the Arapaho tribe. And appreciate you guys taking the time to hear us out on expressing our deep sympathy for a great man.
I want to say good evening to everybody. I know we're here to kind of remember. Well, look at remembering, Burnett. I've known Burnett for a long time. And, I know Lee mentioned that DFS contract. When we met with the governor down there to talk about the DFS contract for foster care, and all that. And I remember that it was an anniversary. It's been 30 years ago when that first contract was signed. And right away, I and Burnett looked at each other. Hey, you remember that, don't you? And I said, yeah. I said, it goes back a long ways. But, Burnett, was a person who had a wealth of knowledge, experience, in a lot of these programs, especially when it came to tribal issues. Burnett was, always, on top of things, and when he did things, he always looked at them, a good rational way, and trying to make these things happen, or doing his best and, and addressing these issues we needed to address. One of the things, we always had Burnett do, he was a representative of the council too when we couldn't be there. He'd go out and meet with these federal people, state people, up there in Billings area. So he was well versed, in a lot of the business undertakings that, we faced. It was a shock, when his sudden death came. Nobody didn't expect it. I always, I'll always remember him, in a good way all the time, for the things that he really worked hard to do, for the tribe. And he was a good representative when he was out there, when he was tasked to do these things for the council. But most of all, I remember him, being a family man too. What his position was within the tribe too. He had a lot of responsibility. And I don't think he had very much time for himself. I think we were selfish with him in a lot of those ways like that, and looking to him, for that leadership in these areas. So, I know his families are really going to miss him. Because like I said, this was sudden. We never expected that to even happen and all that. But, like I said, I'll always remember him that way, and keep thinking that way, But most of all, I still have a lot of caringness and feelings for him, especially for his family, now that they got to carry on now without him. So I know both of their parents are gone now, so so they have a long journey to take, as far as trying to make things better for themselves and all that. But most of all, I always knew that too, with Burnett, his heart was always in the right place, and I think sometimes we overloaded him too with the tasks at hand, but he never complained. He would always take it on, in stride and do the best that he can, to be a good advocate, for the council, but not only that, for the tribe. So in that way, I want to, honor him that way, and have those good thoughts, and good feelings towards him, and all that. And I want to say, to y'all tonight for being here with us to, take your time out from your time to be here. With that, I want to say,
With that, we would like to remember and honor Dr. Burnett Whiteplume with a moment of silence. Thank you. Okay, so tonight we have a lot of things to go over, and we have a presentation here for you all. And we're going to start out here. We have an interim executive director, Dr. Eldora White Eagle, who is going to kind of facilitate our PowerPoint presentation tonight, and then there are certain times when we are all going to take turns jumping in here to talk with all of you about the information that we have to present. Now, I'm getting older, so if I move my glasses, don't laugh at me because I gotta see here in the dark.
Ena dos isi het nita ena nanana thiak Dr. Eldora White Eagle ni isa jana da hantana. Good evening. My name is Dodie. For those of you who don't know me, my mother is Laverne White, and my grandparents were Josephine and Herbert White. And I'm the, like Lee said, the interim executive director. And from the good words that they had for Burnett, those are some huge shoes to fill. Just to let you know, I parallel a lot along with Burnett's vision, his passion for our people. And so just wanted to let you know that. This evening we're going to be talking about the financial report and the effects of the recent government shutdown. We'll also be discussing the Northern Arapaho Economic Development Commission report along with the Northern Arapaho Tribal Committee. We will be discussing the Wind River Hotel and Casino CEO Mr. Jim Conrad's evaluation process. We will be discussing water billing, land buyback, the 477 program, Bluestone, and the Arapaho and Language and Culture Commission projects that they're all doing. So next. The first one on the agenda is the financial report and the effects of the government shutdown. So I'll turn that over to Chairman Spoonhunter.
Okay. So I know you're going to have questions, so if you can keep your questions just keep your questions in mind, and then at the end of the presentation, we'll answer all questions. So we'll stay tonight to make sure everybody's able to have the opportunity to ask questions as needed. So first, here we want to talk about our financial situation for the Northern Arapaho tribe. Here, we kind of wanted to go over the year in 2018, the revenue that we brought in for the whole year. Again, the tribe operates on a calendar year. And so with the 15% and the casino revenue that was brought in, that was about $8,258,708. The severance tax was $2,967,687 for a total in 2018 of revenue that was brought in $11,226,395. For 2018, the total expenses were with the tribal programs. Again, this is the tribal programs, $795,929. In that year, grants, we always get questions about how much assistance we give to tribal members in the form of rent, medical, funeral, any kind of grant assistance to tribal members. And for 2018, it totaled $1,646,657. And our indirect cost from grants that we got was about $3,309. Our federal and state programs was $50,845,468. Okay, so for 2019, our revenue, 15% was $225,000. So far from the first of the year to date, the casino contribution for revenue has been $600,000. Severance tax has been $398,199 for a total of $1,223,199. So far in 2019, expenses on the tribal programs has been $1,353,033, and we've done grants in a total of $131,726. Now that does not include the Little Win loan referrals that we've been doing recently for medical and funeral grants and for other types of emergency assistance. During the government shutdown, we had no money to actually do council assistant grants, so when we asked Little Win Loans to do the director Aaron Wallenbos to help us to assist tribal members to offer different types of loans besides the school loan, Christmas, and the Sundance loans, and the funeral loans. So that's helped tremendously. But we know that we are putting a strain on Little One loans right now. The indirect cost for programs has been $401,960, and for federal and state programs, what we expended so far is $2,469,790. We kind of wanted to show you, there's last year, the oil and gas, that the revenue that we received from the 15%, the severance tax, was a little bit better than it is, well, a lot better than it was this time last. It was better last year than it is right now. In 2018, as you can see in January there, we received about over $246,000 in severance tax revenue. In February 2018, we received over $253,000. March of 18, over $249,000, for a grand total of for those 3 months last year, about $749,235.59. So in January of this year, 2019, we received $129,725.66. February of this year, we received $118,773.63. And in March of this year, $149,708, for a total this year of $398,199.37. Sorry, this was given to us about an hour before we had to come, so I had to do some quick math there. And also, so the difference between 2018 and 2019 is $351,036.22. So you see there's a big difference there in severance tax. For 2019, at the 15%, we received $75,000 from the casino, $250,000, which has been $325,000 for the month of January, February, and March. So that's been very consistent there. So the programs we wanted to talk about that were affected by the government shutdown is tribal health, CHR, environmental health, SFC, okay, so, and then White Buffalo, ARE, and Omnibus. Initially, the clinics, the third-party revenue supported, we had to go to the 638 Wind River Health Clinic and ask them if they could help us with our tribal health programs, because it is an allowable cost for them to pick up health-related expenses within the tribe. And there, again, there's very strict rules and regulations on third-party revenue. So we met with the CEO, Rick Brannon, and he was able to help us out with $30,365. And then from tribal funds, we supported the rest of these programs listed here in the amount of $206,205 in total amount of $236, $570. So we've been covering their payroll. That was the first time we have had to take tribal funds out of our general fund to cover the federal programs here that were part of the government shutdown. And the government reopened, but today was the first day that we received an initial payment from the IHS for these programs. So we're running a lot behind financially as far as trying to catch up, and that's one of the things that we wanted to report to you tonight. And then this put a strain on all of our budgets, and so we've had to cut costs, and we've had to really look at expenses and figure where we could save to help supplement the budget overall. So one of the council came up here earlier and told me that they wanted to reiterate that point, that with severance tax and the money coming in with the oil and gas prices drop, and that we've only received about 1/3 of the income that we did last year at this time, and so that's something we wanted to point out.
So with that government shutdown and the effects that it had on our programs, we had to make the decision, especially on that tribal side of it, to where we supported those programs with $206,205. We had to make the decisions on the viability of those programs because they provide critical services to all of our tribal members. The tribal HRs being able to still go out and administer the care that's necessary for some of our homebound tribal members. Same with the environmental health, the white buffalo. These are all critical services that we couldn't allow to just cut them off and wait until the government shutdown was actually over. We understood that there are still critical needs for our tribal members that utilize these programs, and so that's how we came to the decision to ensure that we kept those programs operating, and with an understanding that within these programs that we would actually put forth money to help support, that they were reimbursable, meaning that at some point when the federal government would open back up, we would be able to get back the funds that we put forth to help subsidize that program until the new budget was approved. And so that's why it's referencing on the bottom that we finally received an initial payment from IHS for these programs, which was again for the 12th. That's when we're finally getting that money back. I don't know if it's in whole because it doesn't give an actual number, but eventually we will receive the $206,205 back to the tribe. But we felt it was important to keep those services available for our tribal members, and so that's the decision that we were faced with when trying to look at this shutdown and the effects that it has on all of us. We also enacted with the tribal fish and game to open up a temporary seasonal hunting permit for both our antelope and deer, just because again the food stamps were part of that effect of the government shutdown, to where they issued out a little early, which kind of set everybody back because now the normal payment wasn't coming as it should. And so we had to also look at the possibility of these shutdowns lasting beyond. And so part of that talk and that discussion was looking at how are we going to continue to provide for the people in their time of need when the tribe is barely doing what we can as far as trying to keep these programs going. But at some point we were probably going to have to cut off what we could possibly provide due to the fact that the tribe doesn't have as much financial that's necessary to do so. And so we started looking at worst case scenarios and trying to develop strategies to ensure that we would still be able to operate as best as we could with the the limited ability that we had. And so just wanted to express that a little more and help you guys understand some of those numbers that you are looking at and why they're very critical to express, because we also had to, at that time, as Chairman mentioned, we had to stop our assistance that we try to help with all the tribal members at any given time, and have to shift that over to Little Wind loans to be able to help subsidize tribal members in their dire need. And the fact that the temperatures were well below the normal because it's wintertime, those are very critical emergencies that we couldn't just stop. And so luckily, through the help of Aaron Wallenbull and the Little Wind Loans program, we were able to actually establish a way to continue to provide critical care for our tribal members in their time of need.
The next agenda item is the Northern Arapahoe Economic Development Commission, and we've asked the EDC to come up. So Mike, are you here somewhere? Yeah, okay.
Good evening. My name is Michael Yellowplume. I am the chairman for the Economic Development Commission.
How about those? I'm Boniface Ridgely. I'm the secretary for the Northern Arapahoe Economic Development Commission.
Howard Brown, member. Lionel Bell, vice or co-chair of EDC. And we got our ace in a hole here coming up. Yeah, I just wanted to mention that the EDC members here, we've been meeting every day and just kind of getting our ideas and suggestions together and trying to do the best we can.
My name is Leonard Armos Sr. I've been EDC for past 2 years and going on the second term now. And I see a better year this term with the young people we have here.
So what we got here on the wall is a few projects that we were just kind of kicking around between ourselves, and Siley was kind of helping us out a little bit with it. One of the things we wanted to start was a cottonwood farm and a sage and sweetgrass, red willow, because we feel, like during Sundance and stuff, we take a lot from our resources and nobody seems to give back. So what we wanted to do was try to start a community farm to grow some of that stuff back, because we were talking about it this past summer during Sundance, and we're up in the canyon picking sage, and it's getting pretty scarce up there, and so we thought we'd kind of make it easier on us to grow farms to kind of help out. And same thing with the cottonwood trees, it's getting thinner and thinner there every year. So we figure, we start a farm and kind of get some stuff going. Taking a hand that, none of this stuff's going to happen overnight. Might take a few years too, but if we get it going, then, it'll be available in the future for us. Another thing we was talking about was starting to grow in hemp. And there's a lot of stuff you can get from hemp, I guess. Different things, building materials, paper, rope, you can't get high off this stuff. It's just for building purposes and stuff, to kind of make some money off of it. We're looking kind of into it. It's a real lucrative idea, but there's still a lot of research that needs to be looked into. But let's see, acre-wise, you could probably get about $60,000 per acre, and it's 25 plants per acre. So you break that down into 20 acres, that's a little over $1 million in revenue that we can generate just off a hemp. Another thing we were talking about was doing like a plaza center for small businesses to kind of help them grow, you know. I've been utilizing this Sharp Nose building back here, so I got a little shop that I've been working on back there, selling clothes and stuff. It hasn't been going because there's no heat or water in there right now, but the tribe's working on it. So there's some extra rooms in there that I wanted to get some other businesses up in there to kind of help them grow a little bit, and maybe we could get a little bit bigger after this. Another thing we're working on is the Census 2020. It's coming up here pretty soon. They made us the Census Committee. I'm chairman for the Census Committee, and I think they said they'll be hiring over 300 people, you know, to go door to door and stuff to kind of provide jobs for our people. If you go on the census website, you can fill out an application and apply there. Another thing we were working on was after school place for children to kind of like help them with tutoring and stuff. We'll kind of get that going. I worked here at Great Plains for some years now, about 12 years I've been in this area. And every summer I always see kids, you know, bored out, walking around, nothing to do. So I figured, you know, we provide a safe place for them to come to just hang out and help them out with their homework or whatever. And I'll let Howard talk about the arts and craft thing that we wanted to try.
I can't remember how many years back, but we got a grant from Cheyenne to do arts and crafts. I want to try that again. We're buy beadwork and stuff from tribal members and give them a fair price, take it out and sell it. Just get that like a revolving thing where we can buy beadwork and help tribal members.
And another thing we wanted to do was start maybe a landscaping business, just to clean up the reservation, clean up the housings, and clean up the cemeteries. Cemeteries looking pretty tough. So yeah, it's just a couple of the projects that we wanted to pursue in the upcoming years for EDC. I'll let Boniface close out.
Hello guys, so tomorrow the 13th and Thursday the 14th we'll be having an open house. We're inviting the whole community to come in. You guys are all welcome to come in. It starts at 9, ends at 5. It's going to be in our office back there. We're going to have prizes to kind of give away. We kind of want to hear your input on what you guys want to see from us. And we kind of want to detail more of the projects that we got going on that's not listed on this paper. And we want to, you know, kind of break down the economic side of what we're trying to do. We've been working with the council. We've been working with SI. We've been working with a lot of people to kind of get this going. I mean, we're not staying in one spot. We're trying to go for growth. And I think it's really important that the community really supports us and stands behind us and really trusts us. Because, you know, like in the past, we haven't had like a lot of trust. So now we just want to build it with you guys and start tomorrow. You know, you guys come on in. You guys are all welcome. Our door's going to be open. We don't turn anybody down. So I hope to see you guys there and hope to have your support. And I'd like to, you know, see more of this go on. And it's so far up to this point, it's been an honor to serve you guys. And I continue to look forward to serving you more. Thank you. Oh.
Oh.
The next agenda item is the Northern Arapaho Tribal Committee. Alan White. I don't know who else. Braxton. Bill.
Arapaho. My name is Alan White. I'm the chairman of the Northern Arapaho Tribal Committee. Let everybody introduce themselves.
Carmel Braxton Ridgely, co-chair.
Bill Armour, secretary.
Tova Harjo, member.
Mick Spoon Hunter, tribal member.
Melvin Oldman, member.
Okay, I guess to start off a report, I guess I'll read off the, what is that? Okay, kind of a summary of our constitution and bylaw through General Council. So the purpose of the Northern Arapaho Tribal Committee shall be to promote the social and community life of the Northern Arapaho Indians by fostering such gatherings and such entertainments as permitted within the powers delegated to this committee. I'll start off my report on kind of what we're currently doing. Activities, we started 3 adult basketball leagues, have an estimated of 280 participants weekly. 280 adults, come play ball in the halls, keep them busy. We have 4 local youth basketball teams practicing throughout the week. They're going out of state, playing in big tournaments and stuff like that, so they come over and practice throughout the week. We have hall rentals, birthday parties, meetings such as this one, powwows and basketball tournaments. There was one last week. Free use of the hall for enrolled members, wakes, funerals, burials. We also, a big part of our year is assistance to the ceremonial and cultural events of our tribe. Kind of always planning and always trying to be ready for those. December was kind of our first month of this term. We had the Easter Christmas powwow and New Year's activities, along with the Arapaho Christmas powwow and the New Year's activities. In January, Tribal Committee ran a 13 and under basketball tournament. We had 80 participants, at least. That was just players. There was a lot of other kids in here. In January is when we started the adult leagues, so every week we've had a lot of people in here. In February, we tried a gaming tournament up at Blue Sky, and I don't think we did a good enough job of advertising, because we had 8 participants. But that was kind of a learning process for us, I guess. And down here, Tamara Duran, she held a Sweetheart Community Powwow. That was a good one. And so far in March, we had a tournament for the 35 and over basketball league. Over 80 participants in that. We finished the women's at the same time. There's 60 plus participants. We're planning on the men's 18 and over tournament. We already have 100 participants. And along with that, throughout the week, we work on our duties, getting ready for the gatherings and ceremonies. And community members are going to they're coming in and they're scheduling their youth tournaments and teen tournaments. And we'll be promoting the community events with the Easter powwows and the Chief Yellow Calf powwow that's coming up. We'll be exploring the possibilities of tribal committee running a youth baseball league. We're open to suggestions on any other leagues and invite the community to come be involved with us and support, other things that we can do. So I guess all we have. Anybody else have anything?
Yeah, our the tribal committee is here to assist other committees with their powwows or and our Sundance and I thought being on the committee was gonna be an easy job, but it's not. There's work out there. Work in this hall and there's work at Blue Sky, and we assist the tribal members with funerals, feasts, and birthdays, all sorts of stuff that goes on in the community. And we have offices here in the hall. There's almost 3 of us down here, and there's 3 at Eastie. And a lot of people are not aware of what the tribal committee has to offer for them. But if they can come in and sit down and talk like the EDC, they're going to have open house, and our office is just next door. They can drop by and find out what all is available to the public. So we're here to serve the community. That's why we're elected, and we're here to help them. I hope.
I hope. The next agenda item is the evaluation of the Wind River Casino and Hotel CEO, Mr. Jim Conrad. This is a personnel matter in which Mr. Conrad's contract is set to expire soon. It's an evaluation on his performance to see if the casino is operating efficiently and optimally for our tribal members. It will remain confidential, and it is committed to providing an objective overview of Mr. Conrad's performance. There has been no decision regarding the renewal of his contract at this time. That's what the performance evaluation will determine, but there's other factors, and Councilmember Fasthorse will speak to that more. The process that will take place, it'll take a couple of months to ensure that there's transparency, that it is fair, and that it's objective. Also, keep in mind that evaluations are commonplace. I remember when I was teaching, I got a yearly evaluation. It's just best practices and it's standard in businesses. Like I said before, it's also to ensure that the CEO is performing optimally and we have sustaining a strong economic opportunities, and this evaluation tool will promote that. Okay. So there has been an outside firm that has been hired. They are Kilpatrick and Townsend, and they are based in Atlanta, Georgia. Why were they brought in? So that they can ensure that there is no bias towards Mr. Conrad and his performance, that they will be objective and fair, that they came in with no preconceived notions. They also have some deep experience in gaming matters. They're also, are they fully Indian owned? Yeah, they're all tribal lawyers. They also understand comprehensively the casino performance and effective management practices. Just a reminder again, evaluations They're regular, they're commonplace, and they're consistent with the best practices nationwide in businesses. Mr. Conrad deserves fairness and professionalism throughout this process, and the firm is committed to ensuring that.
So just to try and elaborate a little more about this process that we're taking on to provide in a sense, a much more thorough explanation for why we choose to look at how we can determine this, because we know there is a lot of politics behind this whole issue. And so we're looking at this in the best way that is fair to you, the tribal members, fair to Jim Conrad. And again, we understand that there has been there was a mandate at one time that wanted this change. And so there's a process that we felt is very necessary to make these things correct. And always, that's the duty that you have bestowed upon all of us as councilmen, is to responsibly take care of the duties that we are tasked with. And so this evaluation is something that we felt is necessary because, again, we have never have had an evaluation process for the CEO. And again, a CEO is just the same as any one of us, like a regular tribal employee. They should have a regular evaluation on a yearly basis, annual basis, semi-annual, and it's something that's consistent with best practices nationwide. And so for us, being the fact that it is a very hard determination to do, we felt this was the best foot forward, was to be able to bring somebody that is not accustomed to knowing our communities, our area, and bring in a firm that can actually come in without any prejudgment of anyone and not really have a tie to anyone, and be able to come in and present facts upon what they know as far as best practices when it comes to gaming. And then the CEO, they do these things on a regular. They have a couple attorneys who have worked for the National Indian Gaming Agency. They also have the expertise to bring forth some accounting people that can help evaluate the finance side of things. But there's a lot of pieces that are going to be looked into with this evaluation to determine which direction this is going to go. Now, Jim Conrad is listed as a candidate, just as anyone else. There's no preconceived that he's not in this conversation. He is still relevant as far as the list of candidates that are going to be able to carry our casino forward. And we have a full understanding that even though there is some controversy to who he is as a person, we understand that some of the practices that he used, especially in setting up the finances within the casino establishment, are very well protected and best practices. The audits confirm that every year, and that's something that he'll have an opportunity to express and display, because he will be part of the interview process to determine how he has ran his operation. And that's the information that we'll be able to have to be able to make that determination. Now, one other thing is we want to ensure that we're not getting into the personnel side of things on this matter, because we have to respect the confidentiality and the fact that it is a personnel issue. And so there's a lot of things that we cannot express on when it comes to that, because again, we have to protect the interests of the employee, and regardless of how people may see that or take that, that's just us being responsible and respectable to any one of our employees. And so that's the process that we will try to uphold throughout this. And again, when the review actually comes through, it's still going to be very confidential. It's something that we can't put out there for everyone to see. But just know that it is going to be done in the best way possible to evaluate in many different areas to help us get a better understanding of who Jim Conrad is, and also to give us an understanding of what the standard is across Indian country for CEOs, and be able to determine best practices that are used throughout Indian country. So there's a lot that is going to be put to this to help us get a better, clearer understanding of how to proceed. And again, we're going to do the best we can because again, we understand that this is a very hot topic for all of our tribal people in some fashion or another. And so just to help you understand that we're doing the best we can to try and meet what has been obligated to us to take care of. And we're trying to find the best way to be fair and concise and be able to give a true evaluation that is reflective of who we all are as a tribe. And so, that's pretty much all I have for now. Like I said, we look forward to hearing your questions or your concerns, but we'll save it for the end when we get done with this presentation. And we want to remind everybody that Mr. Conrad's privacy interests, so there are specifics that we are not at liberty to discuss. So just so that everyone's aware.
Adam, next slide, please. Thank you. The next two slides will be, the first one is the water billing process, and I'm going to call Ms. Jola Walwingbul up to speak to that. And the next slide will also be the land buyback. There's been a lot of questions as to what is the buyback, what's the timeline, and so Jola will speak to that.
Good evening. My name is Jola Walwingbul. I am the director for the Tribal Engineering Department. And I work coincidentally with the Water and Sewer Department, so I work with Mike Quiver and the water operators. But I administer the funding that we receive for projects to improve our water and our wastewater systems. Excuse me. But we are going to start billing this year. We haven't been billing for quite some time. And so this is a public notice. We have to put this out to the public so you know that we will be billing. And it just basically states that in January of this year, the Northern Arapaho Business Council approved the water and wastewater policy and procedures. We've never had any policy and procedures set in place. So that was created last year. There was a group of us that created those. So that was approved, and then the Northern Arapaho Billing Department will begin billing commercial users for water and wastewater services on May 1st, 2019. The residential billing will begin on August 1st. The commercial billing will be handled by the meters in the ETD system. In the ETD system, we have meters installed for all users there. So we can monitor the usage. We can see who our biggest users are. So for the ETD system, they will be billed by the meter, commercial-wise. For the Arapaho system, we set it up on a set rate, that how it was decided on by the engineering firm that we're working with. And so the Arapaho commercial users will be billed by a set rate. But for residential users, the billing cycle will begin with a flat rate for both systems, both ETD and Arapaho. Everybody will have a flat rate. It's not going to be based on your usage. And the cost for water and wastewater for residential is $25. That's not up there. For water only will be $19.50. Water only for senior citizens will be $12.50. Oh yeah, water and wastewater is $25. And water and wastewater for senior citizens will be $15. So that'll begin August of this year. And if you have any questions, you can save it till after, or you feel free to contact my office. The number is 332-2328. Yes, water meters will be installed in Arapahoe. It's one of our later phases of our projects. We have, for E3D and Arapahoe, we have projects broken down in several phases. So we are working on getting matching funding. We do have some obligated funds to prepare both systems, but we are just waiting on matching funds to move forward with improving all of our water and wastewater. Okay, on a part of our policy and procedures, there will be information for, like USDA, I know, provides a grant application for elderly. If you fit their guidelines, they will help you pay for your bill. But if we run into the situation where you can't pay for your water bill, your wastewater, there will be other programs that will assist you with that. Oh. I think that's it for billing. And the land buyback program, 2017, the land buyback came, and I don't know, some of you might have came to some presentations. The presentation's quite long, so we didn't want to do the presentation here. This is just informational to let you know that the program will be coming here to the reservation. So right now we're working on a cooperative agreement with the land buyback, and here's the timeline right now. Once this cooperative agreement is finished or is awarded to the tribe, we will begin outreach. And that is where we'll start having the meetings again. And there will be presentations telling you what the program does. Because there's a lot to the land buyback program. And I know there's lots of people that have lots of questions. And I know some people are misled. But that's when that will begin. And so because we'll be doing the pre-offer outreach and the timeline of it, the offers won't be given out until winter of 2020. And that's when you'll get an offer in the mail. And it'll tell you what your offer is. And then, we'll have a office here where people will assist you with the paperwork for that. And if you have questions about the land that you own here, there's a trust beneficiary call center. The information's up here. But that's it for the land buyback program. But they are coming here. The Northern Arapaho Tribe will have their own office located in Ethity. And so, yeah. But I know a lot of people are concerned with when offers will be made, but that's not going to be until the end of next year.
Thank you, Jola. Adam. The next agenda item is the 477 program. As you can see on the slides, there's a lot of information on there. I'm not going to read it to you word for word. I will just condense it. The 477 program has consolidated the Johnson O'Malley General Assistance, the WIOA, and they have, along with the TANF and Child Care Services. The previous three have already been approved. TANF and Child Care are awaiting approval right now. The JOM program currently serves 4 schools and 2 Head Starts in and around the reservation, which is Lander and Riverton. There's money provided to the students to meet the needs of students. General assistance has now come under the 477 program. It will now be referred to as cash assistance. It's basically the same. It's available for people with no children 18 years and older. And the goal is to get them to get some training and employment. The other program is the Youth Services Program. The Youth Services Program was previously under WIOA, the youth, and also known as Summer Youth. It is for youth 14 to 24 years old to obtain skills necessary to become self-sufficient adults. Okay. The Northern Arapaho Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act program, WIOA, also supports employment for adults to enter, re-enter, and regain employment. The last two, childcare. It subsidizes childcare assistance. So if we have needy families that are needing assistance and they get a job, they're able to subsidize their childcare. The TANF, the last one, is also deemed cash assistance now. They prepare families to become self-sufficient as well, and prepare them for job readiness. And Ms. Rachel Grant, she's here if there's any questions at the end. The next agenda item is the Bluestone Company, and Councilwoman Harjo will speak to that.
So just to, again, like we said, when we first began the meeting, 477 was a program that Burnett wanted to see through and finished. And so in the 477 director and her staff talked to us, and they want to rename the program after Dr. Burnett Whiteplume. And so the program will be Bikopati.
That's to honor Dr. Whiteplume. Kim, do you want
to? I'm glad everyone showed up here tonight. Yeah, we did a training with the EDC, the Tribal Committee, and the Council. One of the things at this training, we invited a group, it's called Bluestone Strategy. And with this group, we went over the resolutions for EDC, NATC, and the Tribal Council. One of the things that came out of our planning, and we did some planning within ourselves of what each group wants to see for the tribe, and a lot of good positive information came out of there. I didn't get to bring the assessment with it, but the next time we have the next informational meeting, I'll bring that. I'll bring the information to you. With that, so the three elected official groups, the EDC, Tribal Committee, and the Tribal Council, we all want to align and we all want to be working on the same projects if we can. If not, we would really like to move this tribe forward, and this is one of the reasons we had the planning session. So it turned out really well. We've seen a lot of strengths in each of the individuals that attended. It was a real positive meeting, and in bringing forth that, economic development brought forth a lot of their plans. We got to talk about a lot of things within the community that we see the community needs, and that's why we want to have a lot more informational meetings, so that way we can help bring our communities together and we can start building our own economy out here on the reservation. That's one of the main reasons we had this meeting. We have to grow our economy. We're making Lander and Riverton rich, but we're not seeing anything out here. But in order to do that, we need the whole community involved. We need everybody here so we can build a new community. Our community has went way down since I was a little girl. The values that were instilled in us, I don't see a lot of that. So I just want to ask everyone to keep coming to the informational meetings and to partake in them, to volunteer. If we ask for volunteers, we need everybody to help make our reservation a lot better and a lot stronger. Ho-ho.
The last item on the agenda is the Arapaho Language and Culture Commission. I know that the language and culture was near and dear to Dr. Burnett White Plume's heart. And I like to echo the sentiments of Marlon Spoonhunter. We had class last night and just stressing the importance of learning our language. And he talked about how sacred our language is. And once we can start to learn that and get back to our language, we can start getting that love and that respect back. So I'd like to call Teresa Chase up to talk about this new grant that they had worked on, and it's a really awesome opportunity for our Arapaho people to start becoming fluent, and for our young ones, our adults. So I'll let her pronounce all the hard words.
Inatos besihi hinana ena nanana nana kaseni be hinana e sena na kahito sena ni ithachana ta hantana haniena usana wa ue na besihi basnanetana na soni ni ethe batna hinana e ti na soni e te na hinana e ti bata na hinana e ti na so hawa ye ti na hatita hinana e ye ti tani tatana. Hello everybody, my name is Teresa Chase. My Indian name is Singing Sage. I am Arapaho and I'm also part Grovant. My mother's mother was also from Oklahoma, so I have Southern Arapaho, Northern Arapaho, and Grovant blood in me. I'm still learning my language. Wayne Seahair, Magpie, and all of the elders have been teaching me. And I still pray every day that our people will learn Arapaho so I could hear Arapaho being spoken everywhere again. I wrote for a grant in December, and we got the notification at the end of January, and that's for the Hanonana Hinana Eyeti Master Apprentice Project. And what this includes is for 7 adults to be chosen by the commissioners to work one-on-one with fluent speakers, 2 hours a day for 4 days a week for 30 weeks to achieve Arapaho language fluency. And that will kick off by April 12th. Right now we're advertising through the tribal HR department. Everybody who is interested, both master speakers and apprentices, will apply through the tribal office HR department. And the Language and Culture Commission, William Seahair, Wayne Seahair, Ronnie Oldman, and Alvina Oldman will be making the selections in a few weeks. And then we're going to train them on the literacy component, history of the tribe, treaties, governmental structure, proper protocol, life ways of the Arapaho. Everything is going to be included in this program. And if you have a job, don't worry about having to work around it. It'll be 2 hours of your own time with your fluent elder, and all they're going to do is speak nothing but the language with you. You will have the opportunities to go out into the communities. The elders will come into your home. You can go into their homes. Community settings, any kind of, go to Walmart with them, drive up and down 17 Mile with them, whatever you want to do, but they're going to speak nothing but the language with you. And in this sense, then you'll be learning in the same manner that the last generation of our fluent speakers learned, and that's by hearing nothing but the language. And in the first couple months, then you'll just be repeating the language, and by the 3rd month, then you'll probably be able to pretty much understand and answer back. And that's the proven method of how adults can achieve fluency, and that's what we want. And our hopes are that the successful apprentices will turn around and teach their children in their homes, work at our Head Starts, our local schools, help provide community classes, and so we can continue the language learning at an accelerated rate with our fluent elders while they're still with us. Today I also submitted a grant from First Nations for the Native Youth and Culture Fund, and that's for, the total project cost is $40,260, but I asked for the maximum, which was 19,500, and that's going to provide for a 5-day camp up in Estes Park. We want to take students from all of our local schools in July and the first part of August this summer. I'm also writing an A&A grant for the tribe, and those are 3-year grants. Those are large grants, and that's quite a bit of money in those grants, and that will be submitted by April 18th. So we have a lot of things going on. The Language and Culture Commission has always needed, and I'm very thankful that they have an office staff. So far it's just me, and we're hoping to get an administrative assistant. They have a really large responsibility, and that's overseeing all language and culture matters for the tribe as a whole. And what that means is that they should be going around and evaluating all of the school teachers, the language teachers, and making sure that they have what they need, as well as gathering them together to develop one common curriculum for all schools to follow, so that if one student transfers from one school to the other, then they're not behind and they're not too far or way ahead. You know, they're all on the same level of learning, and it should be scoped and sequenced. They should, all the teachers that teach K through 5, they should have the students ready for what students should be expected to learn 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, and then by the time they leave high school, then we should have fluent students. And so we're hoping to make that turnaround. I'm just here to help our elders so that we can do our best in producing fluent speakers. Aho.
Aho, Teresa. I just want to point out that a few weeks ago I was at Arapaho school, and they're doing a wonderful job, and the kids are excited. It gives them the self-confidence when they're talking Arapaho. And the most awesome thing that I've seen is that they go and acknowledge our elders. They go up and shake their hands. You hardly see that anymore with our young children. So the next slide is we're just going to open it up for questioning. So I'll be coming around with the microphone. I also want to point out that this PowerPoint will be available online, and I'll give it to Adam. So those of you who would like to access that, it'll be available. So questions?